Good morning, America, for our viewers in the West, tracking the severe weather and why we cannot take our eyes off the court. Overnight, tornadoes strike the South. 2 twisters hitting outside Rolling Fork, Mississippi, 2 years after the deadly EF4 tore through that town. Ginger is tracking it all, including severe storms across the Gulf Coast.
Escalating showdown over the deportation of hundreds of Venezuelans flown to a notorious prison in El Salvador. The president attacking the federal judge again. What's next for the case?
Pope Francis back at the Vatican. The latest on his recovery with Easter 27 days away.
Former Yankees outfielder Brett Gardner announcing the death of his 14-year-old son. The questions this morning after he fell ill on vacation.
Newly released police body cam footage.
I'm here to help.
What happened outside Gene Hackman's home the day he and his wife Betsy were found? And the phone call with Gene's daughter.
Foul. A high school basketball coach fired after he was caught on camera pulling a player's ponytail.
Saying goodbye to a champ.
The winner, and once again, heavyweight champion of the world!
This morning, remembering George Foreman, the former heavyweight who went from king of the ring to grill master.
It knocks off the fat.
With a larger-than-life personality.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
And how sweet it is.
Maryland on the right side of a buzzer beater with life into the Sweet 16.
Maryland still dancing.
Flag going all the way to the top.
Cooper Flagg and Duke dominating. Florida bouncing the defending champs. Plus, the South Carolina and UCLA women powering through to the Sweet 16, with Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins set to take their shot. As GMA makes dreams come true with March Money Madness.
Show me the money!
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good morning, America.
Ooh, a little Annie Lennox.
Oh,
this
yeah.
week.
Yes.
How's your bracket looking? Brackets.
One of them destroyed, but the others are still alive.
Okay.
Still alive.
Keep hope alive.
You got it. You got it.
I'm watching Paige Beckers, by the way, guys. Fellow Minnesotan, loving that.
Yeah.
I like Juju Watkins too, but you know. Of
course.
Go Paige. And Show Me the Money is back. We're going to tell you how we helped find some basketball fans, some lost money, and the place that you would never think to look for it.
Definitely looking forward to that. We have a lot to cover this morning as well. We're also tracking the severe weather and the messy commute in store along the I-95 corridor.
And overnight, 2 reported twisters touched down near Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Almost exactly 2 years to the day the devastating EF4 twister ravaged that town. Ginger, you know, is tracking it all. She's outside right now. Good morning,
Hey,
Ginger.
good morning to you, Robin. More than 70 severe storm reports, and most of those were for large hail, except those 2 reported tornadoes really close to Rolling Fork. A tornado in the delta of Mississippi. West of Rolling Fork, Mississippi, people out assessing damage. Thankfully, this one, nothing like the deadly EF4 that devastated that town 2 years ago. This tornado ripping the side off a building, peeling away some of this home's roof. Wooden planks sticking out of the ground like daggers. Trees taking down power lines. The mayor saying no one was injured. And in North Carolina, high winds and dry conditions fueling wildfires. Crews battling 3 major fires in Polk County near Asheville, prompting evacuations and threatening homes.
We've got friends that are evacuating their homes in Lake Adger area because the fire's right on their heels.
The entire state under a burn ban. Downed trees and damaged roads from Hurricane Helene in September, complicating the response.
You can only go so far, and the next thing you know, it's a ravine or a washout, and you can't go any further.
This restaurant, south of Asheville, providing hundreds of meals to the firefighters.
We did 150 hot dogs in about 2 hours. Monday, we got about 400 meals going.
And over the weekend in New Jersey, fires in Wharton State Forest causing evacuations of at least 2 campgrounds. Firefighters racing through the trees, dousing the flames. The rain will be helping some of that. I'll get to the New Jersey and North Carolina part, but let's talk about the severe storms moving right now through Louisiana along I-10. You're going to see this 9-10 a.m. or so in New Orleans. You're going to have severe thunderstorms with the capability of 80+ mile-per-hour winds. It tracks right around along I-10 right through the Florida Panhandle through the early afternoon. Now you see right there where Asheville kind of has that rain moving through. Same top of the front here, going to bring New Jersey fires some help with the rainfall, but it's going to make for a little bit of a messy day along the I-95 corridor, up through Connecticut, eventually Boston by this evening, and then we all dry out by tonight.
All right, Ginger, we'll check back with you in just a bit. We appreciate it. Overseas now to Israel, ramping up its new offensive in Gaza as the Hamas-run health ministry now says the death toll in the war exceeds 50,000 people. Matt Rivers is in Tel Aviv with the latest. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. With that death toll crossing a truly somber figure, as here in Israel this morning, another suspected terror attack. One person killed, another severely injured in what police are calling an act of terrorism carried out by an Arab Israeli citizen. He rammed his car into a bus stop filled with people, then stole an Israeli soldier's rifle, shooting and injuring that soldier while also shooting at others and at passing cars. He was quickly killed by police. Overnight, also, the IDF saying it struck Nasser Hospital, Gaza's largest hospital that's still operational. That missile strike damaging huge sections of the facility, according to an American doctor inside at the time of the strike that I spoke to. The IDF saying it targeted and killed a senior member of Hamas's political team using the hospital as a base. Hamas saying he was there to receive medical treatment. And now, since the start of this war, the death toll, Robin, topping 50,000 people, say health officials. The horrors in Gaza continue.
Staggering amount. Right, Matt. Our thanks to you. Now, the deadly mass shooting in New Mexico that left 3 people dead and more than a dozen wounded. 4 people are in custody this morning facing murder charges. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman joins us with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. The shooting erupting over the weekend in Las Cruces, New Mexico, what police described as an unsanctioned car show that drew about 200 people. Authorities describing it as a very large crime scene littered with 50 to 60 bullet casings. And of those 4 people in custody, one of them is a 15-year-old boy. This morning, New Mexico authorities are investigating a mass shooting that left 3 dead and 15 wounded.
1143 Central, we have multiple gunshot victims.
This video posted on Instagram capturing the moment shots broke out Friday night, people running for their lives.
Once the gunfire stopped, I'm looking around and I see the bodies on the ground.
The chaotic scene unfolding at what police are calling an unsanctioned car rally when they say a fight between 2 groups escalated. 4 suspects, including a 15-year-old, 2 17-year-olds, and a 20-year-old named Tomas Rivas, all facing murder charges. Las Cruces' Mayor Pro Tem working to allay concerns of a surging crime rate, saying she's working with authorities.
We cannot jail our way out of crime. We must engage in holistic strategies and strategies that pull in our community-based organizations, nonprofit organizations in our community.
And overnight, the grieving community remembering the 3 teenagers killed. 19-year-old Dominic Estrada, 16-year-old high school baseball player Andrew A.J. Madrid, and 18-year-old Jason Gomez, whose loved ones say they adore him for his artistic and goofy personality.
We all just loved him so much. He was just a fun person to be around. He did leave 5 siblings behind that are going to miss him so much.
And authorities have promised that grieving community that they are still investigating and have not ruled out additional arrests. And New Mexico's governor says she's horrified by the mass shooting. She says she'll call back the state's legislature for a special session to address what she called New Mexico's crime crisis. Rebecca.
Such young souls there. Okay, Matt, thank you. We turn now to the Trump administration's legal battle over the deportation flights of hundreds of Venezuelans. President Trump has attacked the federal judge overseeing the case, and the case is now heading to an appeals court. Our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, is at the White House with the latest. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Rebecca. This morning, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is planning to travel to El Salvador, where she will visit that notorious prison where hundreds of Venezuelan migrants were deported from the U.S. summarily with no hearings in their cases. Meanwhile, here in Washington, the legal battle over those deportations and over whether the Trump administration ignored a court order to stop them continues. Over the weekend, President Trump stepped up his attacks on federal judge James Boasberg, calling him a, quote, constitutional disaster. Now the showdown between Trump and the judiciary enters a new phase, heading to the U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington as the administration looks to reverse Judge Boasberg's order halting some deportations.
Mr. President, do you think you have the authority, the power to round up people, deport them, and then you're under no obligation to a court to show the evidence against them?
Well, that's what the law says, and that's what our country needs.
At issue is the deportation of hundreds of Venezuelans who were flown to a notorious prison in El Salvador last weekend under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, despite Judge Boasberg's verbal order to turn the planes carrying them around. In court, the judge warned there will be consequences if he decides that his order was deliberately disobeyed, and he expressed sharp skepticism about the sweeping claim of presidential power at the heart of this case. Trump and his allies have been demanding that the judge be impeached. That's prompted a rebuke from Chief Justice John Roberts, and lawmakers from both parties say it almost certainly won't happen.
Democrats in the Senate will not impeach judges, full stop.
If it were me, I probably wouldn't be poking the people that are going to make decisions about me.
Trump's border czar Tom Homan says the administration will follow court orders, but he's also said he doesn't care what judges think about the Trump deportation action.
We're going to keep targeting the worst of the worst, which we've been doing since day one, and deporting from the United States, to the various laws on the books.
The White House alleges those Venezuelan migrants are members of the violent Tren de Aragua gang, but late last week in a sworn declaration, an immigration official acknowledged that many of those deported individuals had no criminal record. Attorneys for Jersey Reyes Barrios, a professional soccer player from Venezuela with reportedly no criminal record, say he was apparently one of the men sent to El Salvador. They say he came to the United States border legally, seeking asylum in 2024, and was accused of being a gang member by law enforcement because they believed he had gang-related tattoos. So he was detained at the border, then deported to El Salvador without notice, the administration refusing to show any evidence that could confirm his alleged gang affiliation. Now sources are telling ABC News that the IRS is looking to help out with deportation efforts. We hear that the agreement is not finalized yet, but that it would involve the IRS allowing immigration officials access to highly sensitive personal taxpayer data in order to help them confirm the names and addresses of deportees. Rebecca?
And Terry, we're also learning the vice president's wife is set to visit Greenland this week.
That's right, Rebecca. This is a high-level delegation. The National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, is going to be on board, along with Usha Vance, the Second Lady of the United States. And Greenlanders are furious about it. Polls and elections show that the vast majority of Greenlanders want nothing to do with Donald Trump's idea of the U.S. taking over Greenland. The Prime Minister, about this trip, he said, what is the National Security Advisor doing in Greenland? The only purpose is to demonstrate power over us. Rebecca?
All right, Terry, thank you. Whit?
Rebecca, turning to Pope Francis now, back at the Vatican after he was released from the hospital following a 5-week battle with pneumonia. Marcus Moore has the latest on the Pope's recovery. Marcus, good morning.
Well, hey, Whit, good morning. You know, for weeks, people all over the globe were praying for Pope Francis as he suffered from a serious illness in the hospital. And then over the weekend, those prayers were answered.
This is the moment so many had been praying for. For the first time since he was hospitalized more than a month ago, Pope Francis appearing in a wheelchair from a balcony at Rome's Gemelli Hospital Sunday, waving and smiling. With a weakened voice, the 88-year-old addressing the crowd, speaking only a few words and acknowledging a woman holding flowers that he spotted in the crowd.
Sì, a tutti. E vedo questa signora con I fiori gialli. Che brava.
The Pope appearing to struggle to lift his arms to bless the crowd. The Pope then released from the hospital and heading back to his Vatican residence. The pontiff first hospitalized with bronchitis on February 14th. It later developed into pneumonia. Doctors say he overcame 2 life-threatening crises.
The Holy Father was never intubated, and he always remained alert and oriented.
One cardinal in a report saying Francis will now have to find another way of being Pope, less visible and less active, will not be able to travel, and may not be able to attend many meetings. But for 1.4 billion Catholics around the world, their prayers finally answered.
It was good to see him at least looking a bit better than he was the last time.
There's a lot we don't know about the Pope's schedule, including for Easter next month. The Vatican has not announced any papal ceremonies or future events. All of that will depend on his recovery. But guys, just so good to see him well enough to leave the hospital.
You said that so well, and it was great to see him out of the hospital. Marcus, our thanks to you. Now, March Madness. The men's Sweet 16, all set. The women, halfway there, and Will Reeve is all in. Good morning.
I sure am. Hello. Good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning and goodbye to my bracket. So, both the men's and women's tournaments have been light on upsets, but heavy on drama. Last night we had a thrilling finish, bouncing the defending champs. Our first buzzer beater happened in this March, and Cinderella may be heading home in a pumpkin, but the dance rolls on.
This morning, there are 16 teams left dancing in the men's NCAA tournament.
To the freshman queen who's driving, floats it. Oh!
Overnight, Maryland earning their spot in the Sweet 16 with an incredible last-second win.
Maryland on the right side of a buzzer beater with life into the Sweet 16.
A confident freshman, Derek Queen, turning into a king in the final seconds. His fall-away jumper ending the Cinderella story of 12-seed Colorado State.
One of the youngest players on the court who took one of the biggest shots of the tournament.
That was my first game winner. I was a little bit nervous, but I knew we was due for one, and I had to make this.
And there will be a new champion this year.
Florida survives. They're going to the Sweet 16.
Two-time defending champs UConn losing a thriller to number 1 seed Florida, 77-75.
Clayton.
Senior guard Walter Clayton Jr. leading the way for the Gators with 23 points. Hall of Fame coaches John Calipari and Rick Pitino facing off in the tournament for the 5th time. Underdog Arkansas defeating St. John's.
Williams will rock it to the rim.
Elsewhere around the bracket, the higher seeds mostly taking care of business, including the presumptive number 1 pick in this summer's NBA draft, Cooper Flagg. His Duke Blue Devils dominating Baylor. And facing Duke next, the winner of the very late game, rivals Oregon and Arizona battling to the bitter end.
Evans gets it, and one coming.
The Wildcats down by 15 in the opening minutes, but they were able to claw their way back, winning 87-83. The women's tournament has been relatively straightforward, with top teams like defending champs South Carolina dominating. 6 games in the opening round resulting with the winning team scoring 100 points, a March Madness record.
And the women's second round continues and wraps up today on ESPN. And just a little bracket update here. Lots of red.
Yes. Heavy on the marker.
I am in 13 millionth place, apparently, according. Yeah, I'm in like the 43rd percentile. But my Final Four is intact, and that's ultimately what matters.
You got a chance.
Yep, there you go.
No more perfect brackets, by the way. They're all done.
Oh, they were down to 3, but now they're...
That's sad.
All right, Will. Thanks so much. Coming up, why postal workers held protests in several cities.
Also, Trevor Ault has the latest questions this morning after the death of a former player for the Yankees' 14-year-old son. Trevor, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. So this teenager died on vacation. We're going to tell you what we know so far and what the Yankees are saying coming up here.
Troubling story there, Trevor. Thank you. And new at 7:30, the former college football coach accused of hacking the personal data of more than 150,000 students is due in court.
We love props coming up. Yes! Bank shots and bell ringing. Show me the money is back. Well done.
Cowbell.
We'll be right back. GMA, Carrie Underwood smashed it before she's brought to life on American Idol. Oh, the judges having a good time with Idol hopeful Sophia Humbert. Luke Bryan said, this is an accelerated course of angst, anger, frustration. And Sophia, she got a ticket to Hollywood.
Yeah, it was kind of tough to see them hurt that really nice looking truck, though.
Get it out of the system, though. The ultimate revenge bop.
Exactly.
All right, but first, though, new at 7:30 this morning, postal workers held protests in several cities against President Trump's pledge to overhaul the postal service. They voiced concern about privatizing the mail, claiming it could reduce service to millions of people. Supporters of the idea say it would bring efficiency and savings to taxpayers. Also, former Michigan football coach Matt Weiss is scheduled to appear in court in Detroit this afternoon. He'll be arraigned on 24 counts of unauthorized access to computers and aggravated identity theft. He's accused of hacking into university databases and downloading personal information of more than 150,000 athletes.
A United Airlines flight from Los Angeles to Shanghai had to be diverted to San Francisco over the weekend because the pilot did not have a passport on board. The plane had 257 passengers. The airline said they were compensated and given meal vouchers. A new crew took over the flight that evening. And Lindsey Vonn ended her comeback season in style. At age 40, she became the oldest woman to win a medal at the World Cup race, coming in second in the Super G on Sunday. Vonn came out of retirement this season after a partial knee replacement.
Wow.
She hadn't competed since 2019. Afterwards, she was very happy. She said, "This is really, really hard." I liked how she didn't mince words there.
She is something else.
Yeah,
She
incredible
really
comeback.
is. And so much mental there, too.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to turn now to former Yankees outfielder Brett Gardner announcing the death of his 14-year-old son, Miller. There are questions this morning after he fell ill on vacation, and Trevor Ault is here with the latest. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Rebecca. This is a bizarre and tragic story. Several members of Brett Gardner's family got sick on vacation, but that 14-year-old Miller died in his sleep, and the family says they have very few answers.
Gardy goes Yardy. He plants one.
This morning, tragedy striking the family of former New York Yankees outfielder Brett Gardner. He and his wife Jessica announcing the death of their 14-year-old son Miller Gardner in a statement posted Sunday by the Yankees. The family saying Miller left us far too soon after falling ill along with several other family members while on vacation. We have so many questions and so few answers at this point. Adding Miller passed away peacefully in his sleep Friday morning. Miller's father, Brett, spent all 14 years of his Major League Baseball career with the Yankees and was a member of the organization's championship team in 2009. He was named an All-Star in 2015 and retired in 2021. The Yankees saying their hearts are heavy in a statement. It wasn't just Brett who literally grew up in this organization for more than 17 years. So did his wife Jessica and their two boys, Hunter and Miller. The team says they will offer our enduring support for the family, writing Miller had a spark in his eyes, an outgoing and feisty personality, and a warm and loving nature. Just like his father, Miller was an athlete, playing on his school's baseball and football teams in South Carolina, who's shown in this video scoring a touchdown wearing his dad's number 11. His family saying he lived life to the fullest every single day.
Now, the family has not revealed the illness or where they went on vacation. Yankees manager Aaron Boone called the loss unimaginable. He says the team is devastated, Robin.
Yeah, we all are. All right, Trevor, thank you. And this morning we are remembering George Foreman, the two-time heavyweight champ and the man, of course, known for his grill, passing away at age 76. And you're here with his life and legacy, Larry.
What a nice man he was.
Bigger than life.
Yeah, he sure was, Robin. Good morning to you and to you all. George Foreman seemingly lived two lives. First, as one of the most fearsome boxers to ever lace up those gloves, and then as a lovable pitchman who taught a generation a new way to cook.
The impossible dream has happened.
He was the fearsome two-time heavyweight champion who had an unexpected second act.
My lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine with built-in bun warmer delivers great-tasting grilled food in minutes.
From winning Olympic gold at just 19 years old to becoming the heavyweight champion of the world in 1973.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Before losing that title in what many consider the greatest boxing match of all time, the Rumble in the Jungle with Muhammad Ali. And then, 20 years later, the 45-year-old shocking the world, becoming the oldest man ever crowned heavyweight champion.
The winner, and once again, heavyweight champion of the world, Big George Foreman.
Foreman wasn't done yet.
It makes all of your favorite foods, and it knocks out the fat.
Reinventing himself as the ubiquitous pitchman for the George Foreman portable electric grill, selling over 100 million of them.
And tell them the king of the grill sent you.
Appearing on GMA in 2003 to talk about the secrets to his success.
You should be afraid to stay the same.
people change their hairdos and they figure I got to change with it. They lose their job. Some guys in City Hall are just voting for the same guy because they're afraid of a change. Yeah. And you shouldn't be afraid of a change.
Foreman had 12 children, including 5 sons, all named George. He died at the age of 76.
George Foreman lived by the adage, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. He was a big dog. He also had a lot of fight in him. He also had a lot of heart, and he will be missed. We were all just recounting our Foreman Grill experiences.
Well, share yours.
Live as a young reporter at WABC, I would come home from work, throw on my Foreman Grill, and feel like I was making a grown-up meal. So forever grateful to George.
Yeah, everyone has different memories. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that one.
Now, with a high school basketball coach who was fired after being caught on camera pulling a player by the ponytail during a state championship game, Janae Norman is here with the story. Janae, so many people talking about this.
You got to see the video. It's tough to watch because clear as day, you see this coach walk up to a player already visibly upset and pull her by the hair. He's now apologizing, but still out of a job.
Congratulations as well to Coach Zullo.
This morning, a high school coach caught on camera yanking a young player's ponytail. It occurred just after Northville High School lost a close state championship. Haley Monroe can be seen looking upset on the sideline before Coach Jim Zullo pulls her hair and then gets in her face. One of her teammates, Amaya Tompkins, quickly steps in between them to separate the two. It's believed that Tompkins is Zullo's niece. Zullo, who's 81 years old and a member of the New York Basketball Hall of Fame, was fired immediately. Zullo saying in a statement that he deeply regrets his behavior, adding, as a coach, under no circumstance is it acceptable to put my hands on a player, and I'm truly sorry. I wish I could have those moments back. He told ABC's Albany affiliate, WTEN, that Monroe had cursed at him after he instructed her to shake hands with the opposing team, leading to the incident. The Northville Central School District releasing a statement calling the behavior completely unacceptable and saying in part, this individual will no longer be coaching for the Northville Central School District.
This was the team's second straight loss in title games. This incident only making things worse for some of those players, guys. Yeah, but a lot of people talking about the video.
Got that. Thank you, Janae Norman. Appreciate you coming in. Now, Show Me the Money March Madness edition. It wasn't just college basketball teams scoring this weekend. And Will, you were there where? Wichita, Kansas, where you helped some fans cash in?
Sure did, Robin. Good morning. There were bluebird conditions in Wichita. The weather and the first day of March Madness and the festivities in Navsky Park next to the arena, all conspiring for a perfect day. The only thing that could have made it any better was some money. We found that too.
Fire for three. Yes!
We're in Wichita, Kansas, and it's March Money Madness.
When you're watching basketball, you need a snack. Get your popcorn ready.
Basketball fans here for the NCAA tournament and ready to get in the game.
Up top.
The money game.
Oh, there we go. Show me the money!
We set up our Show Me the Money shop at the Fan Fest just outside the arena, teaming up with the Kansas State Treasury to look up fans' names to find out if they have any unclaimed cash.
Show me the money! Head right over to the Kansas State Treasurer over there. Before you know it, you might have a check just like this.
The money can come from a bracket full of places. Common sources include abandoned bank accounts, stocks, utility deposits, even uncashed paychecks that could have gotten lost in the mail. In Kansas, about 1 in 7 people have unclaimed money. The average claim last year, $630.
In Kansas, we have $600 million that is waiting for people to claim. We're able to return about $25 million a year, so we've got a long ways to go.
Show me the money. We tipped off with John.
Wow, this is awesome.
Who found $340 from overpaid college fees from the 80s.
That's good cash. What are you going to do with it? Give it to my kids. That's a good dad right here.
And a nice bank shot from David the DJ, taking home $165 total from an old checking account and some money from court.
I will definitely take it. That is awesome.
Show me the money.
And it's not just individuals. Organizations like Kansas Habitat for Humanity with a slam dunk for $631 from uncashed checks.
What can Habitat for Humanity do with the $630?
Repair somebody's house.
And how about Michelle? Cash money from way downtown.
Wow.
a whopping $1,857 from a forgotten bank account.
What a day. And in Kansas, you should know, the Treasury Department tells us one of the lesser known ways of finding unclaimed property is in a safe deposit box, but it can sometimes be lucrative and is becoming more common source. They're leftover stuff. If you want to, I don't know what's in a safe deposit box, but look for it anyway. If you want to see some extra cash could head your way, check out your state's unclaimed money website or go to missingmoney.com. Be sure to check all of your past addresses, not just where you currently live. It's all completely free. If a website is asking for a percentage of your findings, that might not be legit. No way. No. And again, a website that works for all states, missingmoney.com. I'm going to ring the bell one more time.
Here we go.
Permission to ring?
Yes.
Yes.
Ring it.
There you go.
Get this bell an agent.
Yeah. I think we gave it a microphone, by the way.
I know.
It wasn't loud enough. Yeah.
We needed that. As always, well, thanks.
You got it.
Okay, coming up, the owner of the hottest pizzeria in New York City shows us how to make the perfect pie. Come on back. Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Overnight, tornadoes strike the South. 2 twisters hitting outside Rolling Fork, Mississippi. 2 years after the deadly EF4 tore through that town. Ginger is tracking it all, including severe storms across the Gulf Coast.
Stepping out of the shadows, an alleged victim of one of the Alexander brothers telling her story.
When you saw that he was arrested, what went through your mind?
Accusing Orrin Alexander of sexual assault. What she told police as the brothers behind a luxury real estate empire face federal charges.
And Amy Schumer gets real about her health. The comedian revealing why she switched weight loss medications.
I'm having a really good experience with it, and I wanted to keep it real with you about that.
How you can learn which one might be best for you.
And the Cinderella story in the making. A former Uber driver and substitute teacher set to step up to the plate for the New York Yankees. Wait until you see what his mom said. As we say, good morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good morning, America.
I think that smile that you saw says so
Yes.
much. Good morning, America. Lara will have more on that Major League Baseball opening day dream come true.
Yeah, what a story that is. Also, we get to eat this morning.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to dig in some New York pizza secrets right here on GMA today. Also, Ginger is tracking the severe weather. First, though, Robin, can you believe this week will mark 6 months since Hurricane Helene really devastated parts of the South?
So GMA is going back to Asheville, North Carolina on Thursday. We're going to check in with the hero volunteers, the business owners that are working to get residents back in their homes and rebuild their beautiful city. We're going to have a few surprises along the way, too, as we acknowledge how Asheville is rising.
Know how important it's been to you to continue and follow that story, and to all of us here at GMA. But first, we want to take a look at some of the top stories breaking at 8, starting with the severe weather and the messy commute in store along the I-95 corridor.
It really is. And overnight, 2 reported twisters touched down near Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ginger is tracking it all for us again.
Yeah,
Good morning,
Robin,
Jen.
of course, Rolling Fork 2 years ago today had that devastating EF4 tornado. Thankfully, last night's tornado report, not as bad. The damage, of course, was there, but nobody was injured. We spoke to the mayor, and that came along with more than 70 reports of large hail from Texas all the way up to Kentucky. Now the storm keeps tracking east, and it's going to be impacting New Orleans this morning and through the early afternoon, coastal Mississippi, Alabama, and then the panhandle of Florida into the early afternoon. So just kind of riding along I-10 there. Now, another problem over the weekend were fires. 3 major wildfires burning in North Carolina, way too close to Asheville, by the way, and up in New Jersey, too. At least a couple of campgrounds had to be evacuated because of that fire, more than 2,000 acres. The good news is there's rain coming for both of those areas. I don't think it's going to put out the fires by any means, but it's going to help the fight, that's for certain. You see the rain pretty heavy at times through New Jersey, Delaware, all the way through the early afternoon, and then we'll kind of dry it out here in New York City after 4 or 5 p.m. Boston, about 6 p.m. and then we'll all be rid of it by tonight. Rebecca.
All right, then we can live with the rain. Thank you, Ginger. We turn now to the sentencing of a Kenyan man who was convicted of plotting a 9/11-style attack, training in a flight school so he could crash a plane into a skyscraper in the U.S. Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, is here with those details. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, Rebecca. Federal prosecutors said Kolo Abdi Abdullah came terrifyingly close to pulling off another 9/11. He's due in court this afternoon to be sentenced. He faces life in prison. The Kenyan native joined the terror group Al-Shabaab and wanted to fly a plane into the tallest buildings in Atlanta, including the 55-story Bank of America Plaza. Prosecutors called it a chilling plot to hijack a commercial airplane, crash it into a building in the United States, and recreate al-Qaeda's horrific September 11th attack. Abdullah was arrested in the Philippines just before he completed flight school and obtained a commercial pilot's license. He was, federal prosecutors said, inches away from bringing his murderous plans to fruition. He was caught because he told his mother about joining al-Shabaab. She alerted the authorities. Prosecutors are pushing for a life sentence because they say Abdullah poses an ongoing threat to innocent lives around the world. With
inches away, an alarming case. All right, Aaron, thank you. We turn now to new details in the investigation into the death of actor Gene Hackman and his wife. New body camera video has been released of police responding to the couple's New Mexico home on the day their bodies were found. And Trevor Ault is here with that story. Trevor, good morning.
Good morning, Wood. So we do now, of course, have the answers to these mystery deaths. Betsy Hackman first dying from the rare hantavirus, then Gene Hackman dying from heart disease with Alzheimer's complications a week later. But now we're seeing the moments that law enforcement arrived on the scene, the first questions they had, and the distraught reaction from the neighbors.
This morning, just released body camera footage reveals new details about the investigation into the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy, those who knew the couple speaking fondly of them.
She was a sweetheart.
The videos obtained by ABC News show deputies responding outside the Hackmans' home the day the couple was found. Investigators first concerned about a possible gas leak.
You could smell it a bit in the kitchen, which is, close to where he was, but she's not.
One of their dogs, who was in a nearby closet, likely died of dehydration and starvation. The officers on scene speaking with Hackman's daughter about their two dogs who survived.
I won't know what to do until I hear more from my dad's business manager about what they wanted.
The footage also reveals that despite his condition and age of 95, witnesses claim Gene was still driving.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty mobile. Yeah, I see him driving in and out all the time.
And a big question that now still remains is the future of Hackman's $80 million estate. It hangs in the balance as Gene did not name his children in his will, but they might have claim to it anyway. It could be a very lengthy legal battle here.
It most likely will be. All right, Trevor, thank you. Coming up on our GMA Morning Menu, Amy Schumer on her experience with weight loss drugs and why she switched medications years after trying one.
Also ahead, the woman who says she was sexually assaulted by one of the Alexander brothers, the Florida real estate moguls, now facing sex trafficking charges. She tells Juju Tang her story and why she's sharing it now.
Plus, from driving an Uber to driving hits in Yankee Stadium. You'll see the moment a player's dream finally comes true. That's coming up in Pop News. And Lara's with a special guest. We can't wait. Hey, Lara.
Yeah, get excited, everybody. We are making some great pizza with Scarr Pimentel. He owns the hottest pizzeria in New York City. He's here to show us why New Yorkers, tourists, everyone is lining up around the block. He's very focused, and it will pay off later with a delicious segment on Good Morning America. Stay with us.
Who wants pizza?
Back now with our GMA cover story, and comedian Amy Schumer, always so open and honest about her life. And now she's sharing that she switched weight loss medications after a bad experience with a different one.
I wanted to share, and keep it 100 with you.
Amy Schumer, keeping it real.
You hide your double chin, you hide your acne, and you hide your cellulite.
Telling her millions of fans on Instagram that she's back on medication for weight loss.
3 years ago, I tried Wegovy, and I was puking. I couldn't handle it.
The comedian now taking the medication Mounjaro.
Mounjaro's been great. And look, it's not covered by insurance unless you have diabetes or severe obesity, which most of the internet thinks I have. But I'm having a really good experience with it.
Studies indicate that GLP-1 medications may cause side effects like nausea and vomiting, but they often fade with time. Still, nearly 1 in 4 people stop taking them within the first year as a result.
It's not uncommon for people to have side effects, but they don't need to be severe side effects. If people eat differently, eat slower, eat less, and the dose of the medication is increased very, very gradually, then the side effect profile of these medications is pretty good for most people.
Amy Schumer always keeping it real. And to find the right medication for your weight loss journey, Dr. Saunders' advice is to consult your doctor. Don't make changes willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's different for everyone.
Exactly.
All right, Larry, thank you. Now the latest on the Alexander brothers, the powerful Miami area real estate agents facing multiple charges of sexual misconduct. Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang joins us now with her exclusive interview with a woman who claims she was sexually assaulted by one of the brothers. Good morning, Juju.
Good morning, Robin. Well, Maria Suska says she is one of the more than 60 women accusers, though she's not involved in any of the 24 civil lawsuits or those criminal charges you mentioned, all of which the Alexander brothers deny. She's never shown her face on camera for an interview before, until now.
This morning, Maria Suska is stepping out of the shadows after telling Miami Beach police that she was raped by powerhouse real estate agent Orrin Alexander. The Alexander brothers were the faces of a realty empire with their own luxury firm, Official Partners.
It might start with the real estate, but it's ultimately the relationship.
Orrin and Tal Alexander and a third brother, Alon, are all currently behind bars, facing federal charges in New York of conspiracy and forced sex trafficking involving multiple women. They each have pleaded not guilty. Suska is not part of that case. As a Florida resident, the statute of limitations expired.
When you saw that he was arrested, what went through your mind?
I was shocked at first because I said, I remember him. This is the guy. This is my attacker. All this time I thought I'm the only one that this happened to.
According to the Miami Beach police report, first filed last December and obtained by ABC News, Suska agreed to a date with Orrin in late April or early May of 2014 after he friended her on Facebook. They began chatting on Facebook Messenger, shown in these screenshots, and he invited her to a restaurant. Suska told authorities when they arrived for dinner, she saw about 10 people seated around a large table.
The vibe was very awkward. The people were not talking to each other.
The women didn't know each other?
No, they didn't know each other.
According to her account to police, after dinner, Orrin invited her to a party at the Versace mansion. When she arrived with him, the mansion was closed for the private party with around 30 attendees. Security took their cell phones. Suska says Orrin later offered to show her the view upstairs in the mansion's watchtower.
And it's very, very dark. There's only like a couple of windows, no furniture. And that's when he attacks me.
Suska telling authorities in her recorded statement he began kissing her against her will and ultimately raped her.
What did you say to him to try to get him to stop?
First I told him to calm down. He didn't. He started to strip my top off. I said stop, and I started angrily yelling louder. The more I said stop, the more he got violent with me. He's a 6-foot guy with very heavy set, very strong.
What happened when it was over?
Like, he got himself together, he gave me a smirk, and he said, oh, that was good. He got up and he left.
Miami Beach police documenting that Suska did not report having sustained any injuries during the incident. Orrin's attorneys vehemently deny Suska's allegations.
She would have had to pick her phone up from security. She would have had to walk outside onto Ocean Drive, where there are roving police officers, and these allegations were not reported to them. Our system is built on testing allegations, and we fully intend to test these in a court of law.
A month after the alleged incident, Suska sought out a therapist who told ABC News that she received treatment for post-sexual assault trauma.
I'm not suing for money. I just want my voice heard.
Now, twins Oren and Alon have pled not guilty to multiple state charges in Florida, including sexual battery. As for the federal case for all three Alexander brothers, the prosecution expects to add additional alleged victims. Their next court date is in July, guys, but that could very well change.
It could change. And this is what we've come to expect with you and everyone there at Nightline. And they're known for their hard-hitting reporting. And we're joined now by Juju's co-anchor, Byron Pitts. Hey! And they're good. You're always welcome here. But it's to commemorate the 45th anniversary of this program, Nightline. 45th anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you
on that. I'm old enough to remember how I got to start. The Iran hostage crisis. Yeah. That's where it all launched. But I understand that that's also how your broadcasting career began.
It's true, Robin. You've known me long enough to know I'm a total news junkie. And when the hostages were released 45 years ago, I was a teenager, and I literally jumped on my 10-speed bike, and I started pedaling around the neighborhood screaming, "The hostages are free! The hostages are free!" Clearly, before Twitter or X or any of these social media platforms. But that was when I realized, I felt like I needed to tell the news and be the town crier. And I actually date that back to the beginning of my journalism bug.
I know. I love that about you.
Yeah, and then the idea that I'm anchoring this show 45 years later is amazing.
That is amazing.
I know.
It's meant to be. And what makes Nightline so unique?
I think a couple things. One, I think we get to tell intimate stories in a very detailed way. I think about the story that Juju did last week about the child bride, and that she was able to tell a story that some people may be familiar with, but in a very thorough, respectful way. Robin, some of your great interviews over the years we've had on the show, and a more extended version of that.
Appreciate that.
We did this piece, we did the 25th anniversary of the LA riots, and Juju and I both got to go. She's from California. We got to go and live that story for a while. So I think it's, people can start their day with you guys, and they can go to bed with us.
I know. Wait a minute. Hey.
We know what you mean,
but we're not that kind of show. Okay. All right. Keep it clean. Let's keep it clean. But I have to say thank you for allowing us to have our reports on Nightline, and we can go more in depth and like that.
Further. Absolutely.
What can folks expect the 45th anniversary episode?
Well, we're doing all sorts of compilations. We stand on the shoulders of so many, right? Great producers, great anchors, great correspondents, including all of you guys who've reported for Nightline. And so we're just featuring some of the history-making moments when Nelson Mandela came on the show, for example, when we had Israelis and Palestinians separated by a wall on stage, just all sorts of memories. But also, so many of our young producers have gone on to be award-winning filmmakers and documentarians, or our bosses, frankly. And so I feel like Nightline lives on in so many ways, right?
Exactly. I mean, our president of ABC News is a former Nightline executive producer. And as you just said, we have an outstanding team of young producers who go on to become rock stars, who represent every demographic in America, who tell these incredibly powerful stories. I mean, they're able to turn stories on a dime. They're also able to work on projects on months on end to tell these stories. I think at Nightline, you have the opportunity to laugh, to learn, to cry.
Yeah, and it's really evolved because Ted Koppel.
Yeah.
And many people thought once he was no longer a part of the program, it would go away. No. It evolved, it's grown, and it's here, and it's 45 years and growing.
Absolutely. And we're especially proud of the fact that we've now moved on to Hulu as well with Impact by Nightline. And so we talked about that Courtney Stodden. You've had episodes on Impact that do really well. We have this week, Selena. It's been the 30th anniversary of her death, if you can imagine. And her killer is up for parole. And so we have a very timely episode with her co-partner in fashion, and we dig into that. So there's a lot we do on Impact by Nightline on Hulu. That's great.
Well, thank you both so very, very much.
Is really
dig in. That's right.
For what you guys do so well.
Absolutely.
And the 45th anniversary episode of Nightline airs tonight, 12:35 a.m. Go to bed with them, wake up with us. That was Let's go over now to Ginger.
Thank you so much, Juju. I still like the town crier idea. You come out with me. I do that with severe storms all the time. Exactly. In Manhattan. I'm like, look out, everybody.
It's pop news time, Lara.
Yes, it is, Rebecca. Let's do it. Good morning, everybody. We're going to begin with a big honor for Good Morning America.
Yay.
We are so thrilled to be celebrating our 50th anniversary all year long, and we're not the only ones. This morning, we can exclusively reveal that GMA has been chosen to receive the Paley Center's highest honor, the Paley Honors Award. The Paley Center for Media is the world's leading nonprofit cultural institution dedicated to preserving our media history. The Paley Center's president, Maureen Reedy, saying it was an easy choice, writing, "Good Morning America has been a trusted morning tradition for millions of Americans." Thank you, Maureen. Also being honored, actress Linda Carter for the 50th anniversary of bringing Wonder Woman to the screens. Look at you, Robin. Where's your invisible lasso? Oh, there it is. Also, one of the owners of the New York Liberty and the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Tsai, is being honored, and filmmaker and producer Crystal McCrary. The awards ceremony will take place on May 19th, right here in New York City.
We are in great company.
We sure are.
So honored.
I saw you.
Yeah.
We were doing that pose earlier this morning, right?
Yeah, we were doing it this morning.
We had the photo. We can cue right up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you have. All right, also this morning, let's get to it. Baseball season officially swinging into gear this week for players around the country. There's already a Cinderella story right here in New York in the making. Remember this name, J.C. Scarr. He's been playing in the minor leagues most of his career while making ends meet by moonlighting as an Uber driver, as a substitute teacher. Also, he could keep his baseball dream alive. And this year, it's happening. The Yankees have picked up JC for spring training. And over the weekend, guys, they brought him up to the big leagues. Check it out.
As you know, we have a lot of catching depth, as you know. So that's what makes this hard. Now you're going to big leagues.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
That's so great. Moment. Of course, JC's first call was to his mama, and we have it. Check this out. The reaction's amazing.
Mama, no ayun. Second for this one.
JC, we are so happy for you. Your mama is too. Scarr will be one of 3 catchers the Yankees bring into the regular season. You can catch him at home plate this Thursday when the Yankees take on the Milwaukee Brewers here at home in the Bronx.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love
Great
that.
Story.
Rooting for him. All right, finally, March Madness, full swing, and so is our GMA.
You got your clipboard.
Ultimate Screen Coaches Bracket. Let's get to it. You guys have been with us since the beginning. We have had some stunning upsets in our Final Four. We had Coach Taylor, played by Kyle Chandler on Friday Night Lights. He got edged out by Tom Hanks, Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own. Herman Boone, played by Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans. He eked out his win over Ted Lasso. That is who's playing now. There you go. We've got Jimmy Dugan, Herman Boone in the finals. Let's go. You guys can vote right now. Let me check my clipboard. Yeah, right now on goodmorningamerica.com. Guys, do it, and we'll be right back on GMA.
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good Morning America.
I see a few raindrops right there. All right, Ginge. Well, we are thinking about Rolling Fork, Mississippi once again this morning because 2 reported twisters touched down near that town last night. It hit as today marks 2 years. 2 years since a deadly EF4 tornado hit that small town, devastating the entire community and area. In the aftermath, we met incredible heroes like Tracy Harden, remember?
Yep.
Yes.
She sheltered her employees inside her walk-in freezer, saving their lives as that restaurant crumbled all around them. Whit, I know you were the first on the ground for ABC News there, and you spoke with Tracy.
Just hours after the tornadoes hit, and I was there on the ground, everything was completely wiped out except for that freezer. Just incredible that they survived. But you know what she told me at the time? She said that we're absolutely going to rebuild this restaurant because the community needs it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And here we are today, and that's exactly what they did.
Because I remember a couple days later we had her live.
Yep.
She was there, I was here, and she was talking about it. And Chuck's Dairy Bar is rebuilt. It is reopened. They're welcoming in guests around the world that passing through Highway 61. But she was just so determined And we just saw folks there, Ginger, how they just really rallied around one another.
We love to see that. And it's so important, too, that freezer. I always tell people if you don't have a shelter, you're in that last moment, that is a place to be. GMA back then also introduced you to Rolling Fork Rising, the nonprofit created in the aftermath of the storm by the community who saw the need for new affordable housing for renters in the area.
And I remember going back there a few months later at Christmas time for the first home dedication for Venetia Carter. I was there with Sam. The family has been loving their home for celebrations and holidays and creating memories. And Rolling Fork Rising has not stopped. They tell us they have 12 more houses on their way to becoming homes.
We love to see that. I'm so glad we get to follow up here. And obviously Rolling Fork, not alone. We have seen so many major damaging weather events across this country, but Rolling Fork has been a beacon of resilience of towns and other cities and how they can rebuild when everybody comes together just like that. Now, just like Rolling Fork, the city of Asheville, North Carolina was one of so many devastated by Hurricane Helene just about 6 months ago now. So GMA's going back.
I know, we got our bags packed, don't we, Ginger?
Yes, we do.
Okay, on Thursday, we're going back to Asheville, North Carolina to see how that community is recovering. And you know we're going to bring along some surprises for them, too. But I think it was really important why we wanted to highlight Rolling Fork, because it's been exactly 2 years, and to see how it is rebuilt. Because Asheville and that region, they're feeling, is anybody remembering? Are we going to be able to get back?
Exactly.
So that's why it's so important. And we've said this at times, our viewers, wow. The way you come through for those in need.
Yes.
I really do appreciate
Inspiring.
that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to switch gears in a major way.
Okay.
And introduce you to our new friend, everybody. So come on and join me. We are joined now. And guys, we have seats for all of you, by the way. So come on over. Hey, we're with Scarr. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
What's up, my friend? We're so happy to see you here. Thank you. Scarr's Pizza Guy. He is a pizza guy, but Scarr's Pizza is consistently at the top of best pizza lists, and now you can make their famous pies at home with the Scarr's Pizza Cookbook. Author, owner, Scarr Pimentel is here to show us how to make the perfect pie. We welcome you to Good Morning America.
Thank you.
So happy to have you. You were showing me a little bit earlier, and you get very focused. What do you think it is, Scarr, that has lines down the block consistently?
I think it's mostly because of our ingredients. We use stone-milled organic flour. We use organic tomato sauce. Our cheese comes locally from Pennsylvania.
So no corners cut.
No corners cut. It's a deal for the pricing as well.
Yeah.
The problem is we never really promoted it up until now.
Yeah,
So,
well, and thank you for being with us.
a lot of people assume it's like,
We appreciate it. Oh, can you take a shot, please? Look at my team of tasters taking their job very seriously. All right, so let's talk dough, because that's where it all begins, and to me, it's the most important part. What's the trick to making a great dough and to stretching it properly?
To stretch it properly, I recommend not using a rolling pin. Just allow the dough to rest. Just take it out of your fridge a few hours prior.
Okay, the rest is critical.
And the rest is critical because it makes the dough very soft.
Okay.
So it makes it easy to work with.
Yep.
That's the basis of the book.
Okay, let's try it. Okay, gloves are going on, everybody.
Are you going to throw that dough, Lara?
Yes, I am.
You're going to spin it in a circle?
Hold on, bring on the hat. No throwing, no spinning,
That's
no
yours,
nothing.
that's mine.
All right, so let's talk about this. So the dough, if you guys are doing this at home, you definitely do not want to try to work with it right out of the fridge. Let it rest, and then just kind of spread.
Work the middle first.
Okay. Sorry, I got aggressive.
Let's work the middle
we only have 3 minutes for the whole segment.
All right.
So,
just work the middle, push it out to the end.
So we want people to know, work the middle.
See how easy it opens up?
And it opens up.
Down,
see how easy it is?
Up and down, up and down, up and down.
Make sure you flour your board. So
Okay, flour the board. We're getting
Very
tips
important.
galore here today.
Very important.
Another really cool hack you have is if you do not have a pizza stone, no problem. Oh, this is so heavy.
It's really heavy.
Tell us about this, though.
So, in case not everyone obviously has a pizza stone.
No problem.
If it's in a pinch, just turn the cast iron upside down, pop it in the oven.
Isn't that a great idea?
Wow.
Obviously, this could stick, though, right? So what do you?
No, if it's hot, it won't stick.
It won't. Okay, so you got it started hot.
550. Preset
Okay.
allow it to sit in the oven for about an hour or so.
All right, allow it. So again, I am learning so much here. We're making one of your most popular pies, or possibly the most. And again, I'm getting a time cue, so I want to get right into it.
Sure.
This is hot. It's sweet.
It's all the notes.
It's all the things.
Crunchy,
What's it
chewy.
called?
This is the hot board.
Okay, so let's get to it.
All right. You want me? Let me do
Yeah,
it.
you do it because you know what? America knows. You're very good at doing dishes.
So basically, just pour it in the middle, spread it out.
Are you a
do
big sauce guy? I like a lot of sauce.
You like a lot of sauce, and we'll put as much as
But
you
what's
like.
your feeling if we're making a pie at home? Is there a general rule of thumb?
If you like more sauce, add it halfway through. You could bake it halfway and then add more to it. So it can soak all everything.
All right, so it doesn't get too, so your crust doesn't get.
Correct.
You know.
Add a little thyme. Throw whatever you want on there.
Okay, but your dish is,
You like it
is
extra
pepperoni.
cheesy? It's pepperoni, jalapenos, beef pepperoni.
Oh. And then the secret ingredients is this.
It's Mike's Hot Honey.
Mike's Hot Honey.
Yep.
That is the special sauce. Does the honey go on? Is there an order that needs to be done? Like what?
No, that's last. That's the last ingredient.
This is last. It's also not open.
And it's the hardest part to open on the inside.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So honey's last, even though we're not doing it last. And jalapenos, your
Pepperoni.
choice.
Whatever you
because
want.
you're going to you heat it as much as you want. But the hot honey is critical.
It's last, yeah.
In this, you also brought a calzone, and you say a calzone is really just a pizza folded over.
Correct.
Let's look at this. This is the famous Scarr's calzone, everybody. Any tip?
For the calzone? Sure.
Yeah.
Put whatever you like. We have meatball, mozzarella, ricotta.
Okay.
Whatever you want to put in.
Same dough that we're using as the pizza?
Correct.
Okay. I don't think we have time to build it, but we're going to share the recipe with you guys. And I want you guys to know that the calzone is
delicious.
What,
All
gone.
The calzone is better than most calzones. Most calzones get like melty and watery. This is so well combined.
Yeah, because the main thing is you want to keep the ingredients inside when it
Correct.
bakes. So how do you do that?
You don't want to make a mess in your oven as well. So.
No. But so how do you do that though?
We just trap it in. We close it. You could use a fork, pizza cutter. Just fold it over, tap it closed. That's it.
Do you have like air holes? Do you put anything?
You punch a couple air holes. We do an excessive amount.
I mean, this is so pretty too.
But one or two is fine.
All right. Well, it's been such a treat having you. As you can see, everybody very pleased with the assignment. And if you ever come to New York, you need to go check him out.
Please.
The Scarr's Pizza Cookbook comes out tomorrow, and you can get these recipes and shop for the pizza tools that we use on goodmorningamerica.com. Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate
it. I'm so excited to try it.
I'll bring more pizza next time.
We're discussing now the takeaway from that last segment.
There's so much
Learned so much.
Love Scarr. Love his pizza.
Such good pizza. And by the way, we love this. The bookcase for their latest edition, our friends Kate and Charlie Gibson went back to where it all began.
Happy St. Patrick's Day! So when my father and I started this podcast 3 years ago, the first writer we talked to was actually one of our all-time favorites, the great Irish writer Niall Williams. And I forgot, what was the name of the podcast?
It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie. As we like to say, available wherever free podcasts are sold.
So that background and the shameless plug leads us to when and where we are now. St. Paddy's Day in Minneapolis, visiting Niall Williams, who happens to be here promoting Time with a Child.
The stories he tells are wonderful, and Kate and I couldn't recommend them any more highly. But he and his wife, Christine Breen, who is often his co-author, are a wonderful story in and of themselves. And so we asked him to join us. Where else on St. Patrick's Day but at an Irish pub? This is The Local here in Minneapolis.
So Christine, 40 years ago, you and Niall are living in New York City, and you decide to pull up stakes and move to Ireland. Why?
Because it seemed like we weren't getting anywhere artistically. And my father's house became available. So we said, can we go over there and just try our luck? We had 10 boxes of books and 4 suitcases and not a stick of furniture, and it just was an adventure.
I think we both had a profound sense that we weren't living our own lives. And so it was about making a choice and moving to a white page, basically.
So they left New York, population 8.5 million, for grandfather's house in...
Kiltumper, which has how many houses?
About 8 houses.
About 8 houses.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a culture shock.
Yeah, it was.
You went to Kiltumper to find out if you could write.
Yeah, you get an energy from taking a leap of faith. And we were living in a place of extraordinary beauty.
Did it have to be in Ireland? There's a lot of writers in New York, you know.
Yes. Yeah, for me it probably had to be in Ireland, although I didn't know that at the time. Being in the west of Ireland was a freeing space for me, but also more than that, it was my first encounter with oral storytelling and people spending the evening in kitchens telling stories, just pass the time. And I think that has influenced me more than anything else.
Niall set his most recent novels in the quaint fictional town of Faha.
Is Faha Kiltumper?
The Faha is not where we live, although last summer I did get a phone call from our wonderful friend Alan Flynn at the Old Grand Hotel, who said, I have 2 Americans here and they want to go to Faha. He said, I've told them that Faha doesn't exist. They said, that doesn't matter. They went out to a taxi driver and they said, we just want to go to Faha for the afternoon. And when they came back, Alan went out to speak to them and said, well, did you find Faha? They said, oh yes, we did. And it was wonderful. So part of the attraction for me in writing about Faha was to write about a place that I considered on the surface to be ordinary, commonplace. The older I've lived, the more I've been struck by the idea that of the extraordinariness of actually human beings, all human beings. And what we do every day, carrying ailments or anxieties or concerns and worries and still carrying on, and sort of the heroic element of that. And so that's why Faha was built for that.
But could they have done their writing if they stayed in America?
No.
No.
No chance.
No chance Niall would have written those books.
It's the best way for me to be in the world, writing stories. But certainly I would not have imagined or created Faha because I wouldn't have been living with people like that.
This is what Niall and Christine's little corner of County Clare looks like. And as the two of them say, and their books attest, it's an area with a lifestyle that depends on stories.
And Niall writes wonderful stories. History of the Rain, This is Happiness, Time of the Child. Kate and I found a quote that we really like. Stories are the communal currency of humanity. And nobody's books have more humanity than Niall's.
And Ireland, the country from which he comes, has prompted him to write some great stories.
They are magically delicious, and you can shop their books on our website. And be sure to check out the bookcase wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes air every Thursday. It'll make you want to do a little jig.
Yeah, let's do that. You know
Ginger.
what? We may want to travel there, or maybe we want to travel through space and time.
Ooh.
Well, everybody get ready because we have a first look at the brand new trailer for Doctor Who.
I'm the doctor.
Doctor what?
Just the doctor.
All right then. I'm called the nurse.
Good team. You left Earth.
It's been 2 hours.
It was 6 months ago.
You need to get me home.
You don't need to rush, because
This is a time machine.
boom. I promised that I would keep you safe.
But you can't promise.
I can. I will. I do.
Rebecca, I can't wait. You're about to sit down with the stars of the show, and we're going to hear all about the new season tomorrow. It starts, Doctor Who begins streaming April 12th on Disney+.
And coming up here, best-selling author, one of our favorites here at GMA, Harlan Coben, is here to tell us about what he feels is the best book he's ever written. Stay with us. Well, we are back now with New York Times best-selling author Harlan Coben. He has more than 80 million books in print worldwide and several successful TV and film adaptations. His 36th book is now out tomorrow. It's called Nobody's Fool. And Harlan, it's so great to see you in person. We were just talking about all of my favorite books of yours that I've read over the years.
Thank you.
We're going to get to the book in a moment, but I do have to ask you about March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Because are you in a pool with Stephen King? Like,
Yeah,
two of the best authors in the world? What's that trash talk like?
Well, I'm terrible. Last year I came in last place. That's why I think they invited me. And this year I'm threatening to come in last place yet again.
Wow.
So I think that's why it's more frightening than anything Stephen picks. More frightening than anything Stephen writes is maybe my picks in these pools.
I can only imagine the trash talk, impeccable prose and perfect grammar and everything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, okay, got it.
We save those for the books.
Let's talk about Nobody's Fool, because we mentioned all the books that you've written, but you say this is the best. Why is that? How do you go there?
Other people are saying so. Very, very quickly, what happens is Kearse, when he graduates college, goes on one of those tours that we all go on. Not we don't, but going to Europe, and he finds a girl named Anne, and he falls in love. 4 days, and she's murdered. He wakes up and she's dead, and he runs off. 25 years later, he's teaching a class, and he looks in the back of the room, and there's Anna again for the first time in 25 years. So what really happened back there, and that's the story. I love the reaction. The wax.
Yes,
Come on,
yes,
bring
the
it on.
intrigue already.
Nobody's fool. That's the story.
And I understand this, too, is a spin-off of Fool Me Once, which, of course, was a widely popular Netflix show. Does this mean perhaps now that there could be a season 2 coming with some of this in mind?
There could be. I don't know. But it's a spin-off of the detective character, Sammy Kearse, and oh, he's so much fun to write. It's just a blast to write this book, and I can't wait. I guarantee one night reading. Start at 10 o'clock tonight. Say I'm only going to read for 15, 20 minutes. 4 in the morning, and you're cursing me and waking up to watch you guys.
Perfect. I like that. You got your whole schedule all worked in.
Here, yeah.
Let's talk about your other TV show here that's coming out this week called Caught.
Yeah.
When you write a novel, are you kind of writing it with the adaptation for a series in mind, or does that come separately?
Never. I think it's the kiss of death if you try to write a series thinking, oh, it's going to make a great TV show. Book is a book, TV series is a TV series. We make a lot of changes. We filmed this one in Patagonia and Buenos Aires. It's beautifully filmed. Caught's really compelling. I'm so excited to introduce some new talented people, and I can't wait. It drops on Netflix on Wednesday, so
a big week.
6 episodes. I know. I got this book, and it's a lot. It's a lot of me. I'm getting tired of me. I got to be honest.
Well, hey,
it's a lot of me. I'm sorry.
Speaking of
I
sharing the wealth a
apologize.
little bit, that is perfect transition into a new co-author of yours, somebody by the name of Reese Witherspoon, who I think our viewers have probably heard of. You're not usually into collaborating with people, but how did this idea come about? This partnership?
When Reese Witherspoon calls and says, "Can I talk to you for a little while?" I'm like, "Yeah." But I'm also thinking to myself, how do I tell Reese Witherspoon I don't collaborate, I don't like other people's ideas? And then Reese gives me this brilliant idea. I'm like, oh, wow. And then she tells me, and I go, wait a minute, we could also do this. And she goes, we can do that. We spend about 2 or 3 hours. I'm starting to take a pad out. I'm actually starting to write as we're talking. And now we're writing a book.
Well, we are looking forward to that. Harlan Coben, as always, we appreciate it. Nobody's Fool is available tomorrow. Caught premieres Wednesday on Netflix.
Before we go, this morning we're remembering a dear member of the GMA family. After a valiant battle with ALS, supervising editor Albert Ferry has passed away. He dedicated 53 years to ABC News. He was a devoted husband, father, grandfather, and brother. Al was 80 years old.